By the way, if you're just tuning in, I have with me Jim Musgrave from Research Financial Strategies. I'm your host, Todd Laborwood, and you're listening to Salem Broadcast Network, WRC 1260 AM. Now, Jim, we were talking about managing the money.
Mm-hmm.
Your company, at your website for
Right.
Research Financial Strategies, it's a big organization. You got a lot
Sure.
of team players in there.
Yep. So we have offices all over the country, and so our corporate offices here in Rockville, and so we are a hybrid registered investment advisor. So we are completely independent. We have no financial incentive to sell any proprietary products. So no one's telling me what to sell, and so we're completely independent. So what that allows us to do for our clients is to really sit on the same side of the table and to represent them and not represent a particular company or a product. And so our firm, again, our firm manages north of $500 million, and we're able to do a lot of different services.
And it's amazing because you're always out there working with clients. You're out there getting the word out. You're doing your seminars. You're the front person.
Yeah.
But you have an inner office that actually, it's a smart group of people that are constantly managing the market for you.
Yeah, and that's the difference between an advisor who's an asset gatherer and an actual money manager. You know, let's say, Todd, you want to get my business, and I say, great, get your Series 7, all these different licenses, but they actually don't teach you how to manage money when you get your Series 7. You know what a stock is and a bond is, all that kind of stuff, but they don't teach you how to manage money. That's one of the things that we do really well. And so, so that's one of the things that kind of give us an edge, is that we are true money managers. And we also, again, have a sell-side discipline to protect our clients' assets in down markets.
That's wonderful. So you mentioned something with the retirement gap calculation.
Yeah.
Well, how do you explain that a little bit further? Like, I'm 10 years old.
Yeah, no, all that is that that's the difference between what you have right now saved up and what you're going to need in the future. So what we're able to do is, again, calculate all these different sources of income and to figure out how much you need to save on a monthly basis. And again, going back to that, you've got to make sure that your investment strategy is good, because I can do these great financial calculations, but if your investments in the real world don't live up to the assumptions, your plan failed. And that's not an option. The fact is, people don't have the time to make up for huge losses. And so you've got to have a way to manage that risk. And that's ultimately what you're paying a financial advisor or money manager for, is to manage the risk in a portfolio.
That's amazing. And what's interesting is I know you from the show, because you're our professional contributor for the show and always on here and always talking about retirement and savings and so forth. But you mentioned what I like about you is you're a realist, and you basically we were talking about discretionary income.
Yep.
Not discretionary, discretionary expenses.
Yes.
Because in real life, there's people that are married and they got to basically make sure all your stuff can be covered. So if someone's putting down 3 bottles of wine a week and doesn't want to tell the other person but wants to make sure they have the money, or, I mean, you have your own stories.
Yeah, my story was when I got engaged, my wife and I were looking to buy a house. I filled out my income expenses and she filled out hers. And then she had on her list wine, and she was drinking. I said, "Man, you're buying 3 bottles of wine per week. You're crazy." And she goes, "I'm not giving up my wine." And the funny thing is that I've become a complete wino, so we're like a 7-bottle wine couple now. So we don't drink a bottle of wine every night, but we certainly, we certainly have our fair share. So that's definitely in our budget. So.
Okay. But discretionary income, it's interesting. They can keep it private.
Yeah, but I think when you actually fill out those income and expenses, when I actually talk to you and your wife about your goals, and you actually say, well, I'm spending X amount of money on here, here, and here, and here, it forces couples to talk about their priorities and what's so important. And so that's one thing that's again, it's a very good exercise, because again, there's only so much money left over at the end of the month to put towards either protecting what you got or to save for the future. And so you have to make those decisions on how you're going to spend your money, and that's really important.
Well, perfect. So Jim Musgrave, financial and wealth advisor with Research Financial Strategies. What's the first step for people to get in touch with you? Because
the main thing is obviously they can go to toddlaborwood.com, to the radio show website, and I have my website's linked there, or you can go directly to my website, which is just jimmusgrave.com. And I also want to mention, definitely check my speaking engagements page because I do a lot of educational workshops. So I'm doing one in September, talking to business owners about 401ks. I'm going to be doing one in October where I actually teach employees on how to manage their 401ks. So I do a ton of educational workshops. So I encourage people to actually visit that part of my website.
And as far as for that spreadsheet, is there a way for them to get that?
Sure. Just send me an email. Just go to the website and contact Jim, and I will be happy to send you an email and provide any information that's requested.
Perfect. And if you can't find his email, what I'd like to offer you, our listeners, is the opportunity to get in touch with Jim Musgrave or get a copy of his spreadsheet to send to you. Just call or text me at 301-467-8444. That number again is 301-467-8444. Well, coming up next, we got Mortgage Matters with yours truly.